All right. Hello, Facebook. We are here with our final callbacks with Chris, Molly, and Kayla as our final three. The jury is going to come out and ask them questions. They have a predetermined order. And yeah, we're going to go ahead and get started. Y'all sent in your opening statement. So, first up on our list is the lovely original winner of Radical over here. We have Ian.
Hello, hello, all three of you, Molly, Kayla, and Chris. All right, I have the luxury of going first. First, I just want to say, before everything starts, congratulations on making it to the end. When we all signed up to play, that's what we all thought or that's what we all hoped we could do. So, three of you did what 21 others couldn't. Um, Next thing, kind of just a housekeeping thing for everybody. I think everyone on the jury is thinking the same thing. Don't fucking lie tonight. Just be open about your game. If you feel like you did something in the game that is, would help your case, just be honest about it. We're kind of all past the manipulation point of the game. Okay, so next is I wanted to do just a quick game with the three of you. So just showing me on your hands, no words. On a scale of 1 to 10, 10 being you feel like you have a great chance to win the game, and one being you feel like you have no chance. Show me what you think prior to giving your opening statement. So this would have been prior to everyone hearing what you had to say. Um, Whenever you think of a number, just everyone looks like they're ready. So, all right, on a scale of 1 to 10, show me on your hands. What do you think before your opening statements? Six, six. Kayla, is that three? Okay. All right, and then same game, but just after opening statement. So after everyone heard your pitch. Chris is up to 7, Molly up to 8, Kayla up to 5. Okay, good. Well, I was really hoping that you moved up the counter, having that you just re-record your speech over and over again if you felt like it. All right, and now that's just as a first juror. I just wanted to give everyone on the jury a little bit of a ballpark of where you guys were seeing yourself right now. So I'll move into statements. I don't have any questions, which is the great thing about opening statements coming out early. All right, you're probably not going to like what I have to say, anybody. Chris and Kayla, just wanted to congratulate both of you on the solid game of Friendviver that you played. While it's not technically labeled as Friendviver, and I've been wrestling with it because you met in Radical and then for Radical All Stars used your relationship. So it makes a little sense, more sense than it would normally. It's just frustrating that and from my point and others' points as well, like Kayla, we didn't meet until the merge. But like Chris, like what, like it just doesn't seem like anything I or other people could have done pre-merge, like would have helped in any way. Because according to both of your opening speeches, like the we got to the merge and within an hour you guys were like divulging everything, so like everything that had gone on for 2 weeks before that was almost worthless. And yeah, I mean, I just don't have anything else to say regarding that. It's just extremely frustrating. Even if I wasn't like, I guess I wasn't even a casualty of that early on. I got to play a little more than some of these other people did, but it's just frustrating. And then to hear both of you say you played the middle, but also were ahead of everything strategically, that's not how it works. You either are one or the other. So I'd like to hear later on tonight from other people in your answers about how one is true and one is not, because it's just not possible to be in front of all strategy and also be in the middle of everything. That's not how it works. Okay, Molly, we did not gel well together in the game at all. And if this final tribal would have been 2 days ago, I would have probably rather said that I gouged my eyes out than vote for you to win. Um, but I'm here to tell you that I think you have a chance, at least for my vote, you have a chance. You know what? I do have a question for you. In your opening speech, you kind of alluded to both a strategy and a social, but like the way that those games work, that it doesn't mesh. Like, what was the basis of your game? Like from a strategical point of view, was it to use more of your social game or more strategy? Because I think that would help me gauge what you are giving in the game, if that makes sense.
Um, Kind of, yes. So, I think that part of my strategy was to underplay my social game a bit, because my social game has gotten me in trouble in the past with being a threat. Um, and I strategically was a little more quiet. I did say that in my opening speech, but I'll elaborate by saying that I formed the social bonds that I needed to and that I knew would benefit me in the long run, but I feel like I didn't go overboard with being overly social with more people than necessary. And I was social enough, but I wasn't so social to an extent where it felt like I was being fake, like I was going to actually align with people that I wasn't really going to align. Probably brutally honest that I had voted you, and probably made it clear that I probably wasn't going to work with you in the future. Um,
Yeah, I mean,
but
I came to you
does
after
that
that
kind of
vote.
answer?
Yeah, yeah. Sorry, I think I'm a little laggy, but sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off if I did.
No, I'm sorry, my
Um,
internet is terrible.
no, you're good.
Were you able to hear all of that?
Yes, yeah.
Okay.
I So okay, I come to you at final six and basically offer you like a partnership because we had been so on opposite sides. Um, and again, you played around that and didn't have to accept and never did. Was that ever a consideration for you at that point? Because I mean, maybe earlier in the game it would have been, but at that point there's only six people left and you had your group. So was that ever something that you were thinking about or that thought benefited you?
At that point, no.
Okay.
Oh, you asked us not to lie. And at that
Oh
point,
yeah.
no, that was not something that I was going to entertain because I didn't see us being a duo would benefit me in the long run. I did not want to sit next to you in the end because I thought you were a massive threat. So I felt like if I told you, yeah, let's be a secret duo, that would just give you false hope. And I danced around it. I didn't outright say that we're not going to do it, but
Yeah.
I think it was clear by me dancing around it that it wasn't going to work out. Um,
It
but yeah,
was
no,
definitely
honest.
clear by the second dance you did around it. I was like, oh,
Okay, good, good. That was my goal. That
um,
was the special dance.
yeah.
But
I
yeah, no, it
Okay.
was not in my plans.
Okay. And that's it. That's all I have. Good luck to all three of you. Um, we're gonna be friends after this. So
Yeah.
next juror, I believe, is Chris Miller. Oh, Jay's coming on to do it. Never mind.
Yes, our
Chris
winner.
Miller, you're up.
Yes, our winner of Survivor Greece. Go ahead.
I decided to dress up for the occasion just for you three. Um, Honestly, I don't have any questions for any of you, only because I don't think there's any single question I can ask each of you that would make a big impression on my current leanings. I am leaning a certain way, but I do have a comment for all three that applies to all three of you. And I think a lot of the jury is feeling the same way, and they can correct me if I'm wrong when it's their turn. But all three of your speeches were very, very underwhelming. Like, I was bored. Quite frankly, I was bored during all of them. And maybe it was nerves, maybe it was a little anxiety, maybe it was just, I don't know what the reason was, but I didn't feel any fire and I didn't feel any passion. And what I kind of want each of you to do tonight is really bring that fire and passion. I do think each of you played phenomenal games because each of you are sitting in a spot we all want to be in. But in your speeches, it just didn't feel like any of you were bringing it. So, my advice to each of you for each of the subsequent jurors is really bring your game, really sell yourself. I want to know why I'm voting for you to win. This is an all-star game. This isn't a walk in the park. You all had to do a lot of great things to get here, and I want you to really tell us that. But with all that being said, congratulations to all three of you. Each one of you would be a very worthy winner. And for each of you, I'm gonna go ahead and take a hit.
Thank you, Chris. Very short, sweet, and to the point. But with that, we'll go ahead and move on to John.
Hi, everyone. First and foremost, congratulations. I mean, you three managed to do what 21 others of us couldn't do. You're here sitting at the end. You should be proud of that. You're going to get a lot of flack from this jury tonight. You've already seen it. I guarantee you there's more to come. The big thing that myself and the jury really realized with your opening statements is we aren't sure how much game awareness you actually had, how much awareness you had of your social standing, how much awareness you had of the people around you, and how much awareness of your impact on the game. So I am going to ask you each a question. It's the same question. It's going to be pretty straightforward. And hopefully this clarifies for all of us what you think of your game, and we can evaluate whether or not it shows awareness. I want each of you to compare your game to a movie. I want you to give me the title of the movie, and I want you to give just like 5 or 6 sentences saying how it compares. And also remember, I'm a pretentious prick. So if you pick a bad movie, you're probably going to lose my vote. Let's start with Kayla.
Did you say me first?
Please.
Oh, fuck me. Okay. Now I'm like, wait, what conversations did we have? What movies did we talk about? What does John like? I know what I talked about. Oh gosh. Oh, a movie. That was most like my game. Oh, I don't really want to do this to myself because I feel like it kind of makes me look like a little bit of a witch, but that's okay because I've been called worse. We're gonna go with Mean Girls for the fact that I feel like I at different times in the game, I don't want to say manipulated my relationships with people or like manipulated the conversation to go the way I wanted it to go or manipulated the conversation so that people thought a certain way, whether or not it was what I wanted them to think or not. I think that I did, I don't know, I think I was sneaky and I definitely wasn't forthcoming about some of the bonds that I had. Gonna say Chris. I'm gonna try not to say Chris's name too much tonight because I already know that the jury is not pleased about that relationship, which is fine. But I am going to say that like I did feel like it was a sneaky thing for me to do because I felt so close to like you and Antonio and Mandy before she left. While at the same time I was trying to have my cake and eat it too in like have you guys, but then also just get my information to Chris and then figure out, well, which one was best for me at the time. And when it was important for me to divulge information to you guys without letting you know that I was having conversations with him. So I felt sneaky in a sense that I kind of felt like I was, I don't know, manipulating the system to have it work for me or work the way I wanted it to at different times. So I would say Mean Girls. I don't think I was like specifically mean to anyone in this game. However, I mean, in the Peyton vote out, I was not as kind as I would have liked to have been. So I think that I kind of, wasn't as nice as I could have been. It was definitely a little mean girlish to kind of ice him out when he didn't deserve that from any of us, and we all did it to him, and we shouldn't have, and it was really shitty of us all. And we could hide behind the fact that we were like, oh, we were scared of advantages, but were we really? I don't feel like we were that much. I feel like we were just taking the easy way out, and it was a really crappy thing to do, and we shouldn't have done it. So I'm gonna say I'm confident in my answer of Mean Girls, and I feel like you don't really like that movie, but I don't know. So we were told to be honest. So it is.
Tell me you don't
is
listen to any of my Patreon content at all. Thanks, Kayla. Thank you very much.
Oh, I can't hear you if you're talking.
You can't? Can you hear me now? I think Kayla's frozen now. So we're going to move on to Molly. Molly, let's hear a movie from you, and let's just remember 5 to 6 sentences about why it compares to your game.
Gotcha. So I would compare my game to Remember the Titans, which sounds strange, but I feel like I was a bit of an underdog this game, and as were, some of them Remember the Titans people. Yeah, I think I was a bit of an underdog this game. I kind of lost pretty much every close ally that I had, like kind of one by one. I adapted though. I adapted. And I owned that underdog title. I feel like I made new connections when I needed to, and I held on to those as long as I could. And yeah, I guess that's kind of 5 to 6 sentences. But yeah, I would say Remember the Titans, underdog story. Everyone loves it.
Thank you, Molly. And Chris, that leaves you.
Yeah, so I would pick American Sniper, basically on the fact that I was very sneaky. I was taking shots at people, and there was obviously something I was hiding, so the sniper part of that. And then I really felt like I did have some really good allies, and then I took them out. And I know it didn't go very well.
Okay, thank you, 3. Just keep in mind everything that all the jury's telling you. Keep in mind what Ian's saying about being honest throughout this entire thing. Is really going to help us make a decision, because I don't think any of us have our minds made up. So each of you has a chance to win this game right now. Take that opportunity. And you know what? I'm going to throw out something just to help you guys out just a little bit. Kayla, Chris, your relationship wasn't as secret as you think it was. Thank you very much, guys.
All right, leaving it off spicy. But next we got Queen Mandy coming up.
Hello, everyone. Great job so far this evening. Keep up the good work. Like everyone's been saying, just own your game, yada yada, all that. I had a question and then I took a hit right before I went on. So give me a second. Oh, I was gonna ask sorry. If y'all 3, let's say none of you 3 were on Final Tribal, who, and this is a question for all 3 of you, and I don't care what order you answer in, but who would you say should be the final 3 of this game if it couldn't be the 3 of you? Like, who are some people that you think were key players in the game or whatever?
I can go first. Do you want an explanation or not?
You can if you want. I would maybe try to keep it short-ish just because the jury's restless.
So from my perspective and my thoughts, if we were not in the final 3, I would say Ian, John, and Ava. I thought all 3 played incredible games in all of the ways. They were always social. They were always their clocks were always turning. Their gears were always turning. Whatever that phrase is. They played smart. They played strategically. They played strong socially, and they were great at challenges. So I think overall those 3 would be an impeccable final 3, and I would have a very hard time deciding between them.
I'll go next. I don't want to repeat the same answer, but that's the same thing. I think John, Ian, and Ava, just going on of the boot order. I think they all showed tremendous social game. They won the most immunity challenges. And for me, they did the most for my game. And they could have easily taken me out at any point. And so I think those are the three for me.
And unfortunately, I'm going to follow suit. I guess that's why you should always try and struggle to be first in these ones so that you're not copying the other two. But I mean, like, I feel like collectively, the three of us have discussed on multiple occasions how big of a threat we knew Ava, Ian, and John were, which were the reasons that we all felt like they were that they needed to go. I mean, I believe I said this in the opening statement that I sent in to you, because there was many of them that got recorded and then got deleted and got re-recorded because they were far too long, which is good now knowing that they're restless because they wouldn't have wanted to listen to like 25 or 30 minutes of me yammering on. But I do genuinely believe that John, Ian, and Ava had the greatest chances to be in final tribal council, and I think it would have been a very tough tribal council for all of us to be able to decide a winner amongst all three of them, because they all played completely different games. That's why they were a threat to all three of us. And then, like I said in my statements, I truly believe that should John have ended up at the end, he would have won this game hands down. So definitely the three of those.
Okay. None of you get my vote. I'm just not gonna vote because none of you said me, and the correct answer was me 3 times. So y'all failed that test. Um, but all jokes aside, thank you for the feedback. It definitely helps. Kayla, I really enjoyed getting to know you in the game and getting to play with you as long as we did. Chris, I do feel cheated that we like didn't get to play much with each other. Definitely would have loved to do that more. And then Molly, you know how I feel about you. But yeah, I wish all three of you good luck. Take deep breaths. Don't get flustered. Everyone's here to have fun. And sometimes people just want to be spicy for the fun of it. So, but yeah, have fun. Good luck with the rest of the night. And I will talk to you guys soon. Oh my God, wait, I forgot. I was going to copy Chris and take a hit for all of you as well. So cheers. Bye.
All right, next up we have Peyton, who unfortunately couldn't be here, so he did submit stuff to his confessional for y'all. He says, I want to say congratulations to all three of you. You all earned it. And he wants each of you to answer what would you consider your biggest flaw in your game? He didn't give an order, so whoever wants to go first. Don't go at one time.
I guess I can go if no one wants to go. I I'm gonna be honest, I feel like there's a couple answers for this for me. I did not play flawlessly. Obviously, there's no such thing as a flawless game, but I will own the fact that maybe my let's be a little less social strategy kind of backfired because people actually really didn't think I was being social at all at some points. So I think that was probably overall the biggest flaw. But I think I conquered that by bouncing back every time I lost someone that I wanted to work with or was working with. But yeah, I think overall, maybe that strategy won't be one that I'll implement ever again. I hope that helps.
I'll go next. I think my biggest flaw was fire making and having those conversations with Ava and Kayla. I feel like I didn't handle those conversations very well, and I could have been more truthful and honest about potentially, obviously, putting them in. And so that's something I felt like I didn't handle very well. And that was one thing that like kind of sat with me for a long time.
Well, after John's comment earlier about self-awareness, now I'm self-aware and I'm like, oh my gosh, maybe I wasn't self-aware enough in this game, which I mean, I guess sometimes we aren't, right? So now I'm worried that part of that could have been a flaw for me in the game. I also, I mean, if people were fairly aware of Chris and I, then clearly we didn't do a good enough job at masking our connection in the game, which could be, maybe noted as a flaw. If I specifically was to come up with one, I think it might have been the fact that I didn't really let myself get emotionally attached this season, whereas maybe it's been a flaw for me in the past because I've been too emotionally invested. I felt like maybe I wasn't as emotionally invested enough this season, whether it be my head wasn't exactly in it when I started the game. I didn't really think that I was going to go very far, so I kind of already counted myself out. And then when things started to kind of like work out and move along, I kind of felt like it was really easy for me to get rid of people this season, whereas in the past I would have had a harder time getting rid of people. So I think had I made more of an emotional connection with some of you or anybody, that maybe we could have created even stronger bonds. I thought my social connections were great in this game, but I definitely think that they could have been better, and maybe things would have turned out differently at different points in the game had I connected more on an emotional level with some people, and maybe not left people feeling as high and dry after I voted them out, because I just didn't really make as much of an effort before I voted them.
He wants to say thank you all and good luck after that. All right, next up we have Kevin, but he said he needs a few more minutes, so we're gonna move over to our next juror, Frank. Is Frank here?
See his little thing, his little icon.
Yes, he's. Let me see. Let me.
Say.
We need to call him with Scrub Daddy.
Oh, yeah.
Stop, I was
There we
joking
go. We have our Scrub Daddy Frank. All right. Well,
Jay,
we're waiting
that
on.
sucked.
I know it is bad. I can't do it. We know this. Well, I guess in the meantime, we can move over until we can find Frank to Miss Ampy, aka Antonio, the winner of season 2, Battle of the Bitches. Sounds of Disney. That was backwards, but. And okay, there we go.
Hello, hello. Good evening, everyone. Congratulations to, well, I guess all three of you. I'm not bitter. I really don't have a question because I wasn't prepared for this. I'm at work right now, as you can tell. Actually, I do. Two questions. One for all three of you, and then another one specifically for Kayla. So first question I want to know, and unfortunately, I'm not going to allow you guys to pick the same person that's on the jury, right? So if you guys tell me the same answer, or if you hear somebody say the same answer, you have to pick somebody else. So my first question, I want to know, who did you guys benefit from the most sending them out of the game? Like when they got voted out, how did it change your game? And I want to go with Molly first.
Oh my god, it can't unmute. So which juror going out benefited me the most?
Mm-hmm.
For me, that would probably be Kevin, honestly. I know he was an early juror, but he didn't seem to be wanting to work with me at all. He did vote me the night that we voted him out, on that split thing. And his talking to him in that scramble period, I felt that it was clear he was voting me and clear that he had no intentions of working with me and that he just wanted to be Gloop strong. So I did not want that in the game anymore. So Kevin was definitely the best, I think. And I know it's strange because he was an early juror, but I think that had Kevin stuck around, obviously I wouldn't be here, but let's say, for example, if Kevin stuck around and I did not, and I also did, I don't think that my game would have gone as well as it did.
Okay, let's move over to Kayla next.
I first of all, I'm so happy to see your face. I'm sorry. And so honestly, and I don't want to sound like a broken record, but I am going to repeat what I said in my opening statements, or a version of my opening statements I submitted. I do truly feel like a turning point in my game was sending John out. John was my biggest threat in the game. Now, in previous seasons, I would 100% say that like I felt like I kind of matched John in a challenge competitiveness. This season, not so much, because I was nowhere close to John's level. But I do think that John was my biggest competition, and John having a close relationship, whatever it might be called, to Chris, Ian, and Ava was a hindrance to my game. And I'm a selfish bitch and I like to have people to myself. So I didn't want to let John go far enough that he could potentially have the option to choose between the two of us. So John going was definitely a turning point in my game.
Okay, you should have asked me, girl. You know I like to snatch wigs.
I know, and I know it's fine. It's you can blame Chris. It's his fault. We had discussions after that.
It's all good. All right, Chris, go ahead.
I think you know the obvious answer for me. It was you. It pretty much blew up everyone's game as far as like John was put out on an island, and no one really trusted him. Kayla was kind of by herself, and so I felt like she had to rely on me a lot. And then I felt like that also locked in like Ian and Ava with myself, because they felt like they could no longer trust John. And so I think that was the key move for me.
Okay, fair. So, and maybe I missed it in your opening speech, Kayla, but this question, like I said, I just wanted to be for you. Tell me what I didn't see. You know, we played from day one together all the way. We went to swap, we went to split at the merge. So I saw a lot of your game. Tell me what I'm missing, because I'll be straight up, I want to vote for you tonight. So I need to see the part of the game. I want you to tell me the part of the game that I missed.
So do you mean the part of the game after you went out, or the part that we played together?
The part that we played together, like what was going on behind the scenes that kept you secure outside of like the Beauregards? And I already know pretty much like the Chris thing. What else was there? What other holding points kept you secure in the game?
And I mean, like Chris was obviously post-merge because we weren't with him at all pre-merge. Pre-merge, obviously a huge part of my game was our alliance, you, me, and John. And, you know, there was additional people that were on our tribe, whether it was the OG tribe or the second tribe that we were on after merge. I mean, a large part of my game was my relationship with you before you went out, because I felt like you were kind of, I don't want to say my rock, but like when I was nervous about John or having second thoughts about John because I knew how good John's social connections were, I felt like, you know, if I go to Antonio and I express these, is Antonio going to be like, yeah, okay, let's just vote him out? I know you and I had some like honest conversations about the threat level of John. At the same time, I also always knew that you had a closeness with Mandy as well, which is always something that I wanted to keep an eye on, because, you know, being a person in these games, you want to make sure you have, I don't want to say like the strongest connection with everyone, but you won't always want to have, you know, make sure that you're an option for those people to trust. And I did obviously always worry that you could have been, you know, close with Mandy. I mean, I felt like Mandy was close with everyone because everyone loved Mandy. And, you know, then having you and having John as super close allies was helpful to me. I mean, what I feel like you didn't see in the game, I mean, I guess I tried to have as strong relationships as I could outside of you and John I did lean largely into my relationships with you. I'm not gonna like claim that I these huge, big, strong relationships without you. No, I leaned very strongly into my alliance, and I put a lot of faith into my alliance with you and John, while at the same time knowing that John was super connected with everyone else. You know, further into the game, Molly and I kind of just dropped into each other's laps. We definitely weren't playing together before that. We definitely were happy to say each other's names before that. And then when push came to shove, it was like, oh shit, like we're gonna need to get together if we want to make something happen and not let these three take us out. And so I mean, I think that you saw a lot of my game, to be perfectly honest, before you went out, because I do think I was super transparent with you. I think I was probably keeping less from you than I was from other people.
Okay,
So
that's fair.
Yeah.
I appreciate that. That's all I really have. Like I said, congratulations. I think I'm gonna listen a little bit more, but I think my vote is pretty much spoken for the evening. But good luck, you guys.
All right, he's available now. We have our scrub daddy, Frank. He was here a few minutes ago. Now him getting off again. Oh my gosh. Let me tag in the George.
He
Huh?
keeps hearing your scrub daddy and thinking that's shit, so he's not coming on.
He probably does.
It's got to be
Frank,
better.
he loves me though. Don't worry. Frank's my, my NFL buddy. Gives me shit for my weird Niners all the time. Yeah. I'm gonna give him like a couple of seconds here.
While we're waiting for Frank, fun fact, I had no fucking clue about Chris and Kayla's like super close fucking friend Viber relationship. Their words, not mine. But yeah, so that's I guess also another movie could be Clueless for me because of that. But fuck, man.
All right. Well, while we wait for Frank, who is next? I believe it's McCall. Yes, it is McCall. So I have no idea where Frank is. So McCall, go ahead. Come on.
Oh shit, I didn't even know I was even my turn. So yeah. So first of all I would like to say first of all, am I unmuted? Just want to make sure. Yeah, I am. Cool. All right. This is weird because the last time I was on your guys' end. So this is weird. Okay, so I'm just gonna start things off with a little bit something different. Before I get into everything, I just want each of you to say one juror. Just say any juror that's on the jury. You cannot repeat. So let's start with Kayla. Just choose a juror.
Literally just choosing a jury. You're not going to tell us why first.
We'll get to that in a little bit.
Okay. I gotta say Antonio.
Antonio. Okay. Chris, choose a juror.
Ian.
Okay. Molly, choose a juror. And you're muted.
I can never fucking unmute correctly on my phone. Mandy, she's hot.
Okay, we will get to those in a little bit. So before we get into that, usually I do this kind of thing of like, describe each juror as this kind of thing, blah 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 blah. But I'm not gonna do that this time, mostly because I do have more specific questions this time around. So we're gonna start in the exact same order that we just did here, and we're gonna start off with Kayla. So with Kayla, one of the things I can respect is the fact that you got into a deep run twice. Of the fact that I believe you played last season and got 4th place. Am I correct? Okay, so making it to Final 3, basically Final 4 twice is very much impressive, especially due to the fact that I don't know how much this like puts into the things, but you are a lot more pregnant than you were during the first time you played a little more, which, like, in my opinion, is a lot more impressive because it does. No, I'm actually being serious. It shows the dedication that you have for this game and for the series as a whole. Like, for me, I really much respect that about you. The one thing that I'm really struggling with, however, is the fact that you were so much in like a shadowing position because like there is a lot of people that kind of connects you and Chris together because of like the speeches and all that kind of stuff. But for me, it's kind of like you were kind of like in the back burner of everything, but like Chris was way more out in front. So is there anything that like you two did that you were like the leading charge of overall between the two?
I mean, I think unfortunately, when you work closely with anyone in a game, that kind of always becomes a problem is okay, well, what did we not do together? Because it's, sometimes super hard to differentiate your game from the other one. Now, obviously, Chris and I came from completely different ends, right? He was on one OG tribe and I was on the other. We didn't actually meet until merge, which I do think worked to our benefit, specifically worked to my benefit because it then forced me to get close with other people like Mandy, Antonio, and John. Now, do I think that like I was super out in the front? Like you said, no, I really wasn't. I wasn't playing this game this season to make a big splash and have people's eyes on me on a regular basis. I've done that in the past. I've played that kind of a game in the past, and I felt like it's put more of a target on my back. And I was trying to play more of a low key game this season, hoping that people maybe weren't going to think of me as an immediate threat. I know that after a conversation that I had with Ian, apparently Ian went back and told Chris right away, oh, Kayla's like a big threat. Like she's a really good talker. She's this, she's that. And I'm like, okay, Kayla needs to step back a little bit and maybe not, you know, I don't want to say show my cards as much because I think he said something to Chris along the lines of, I felt like we did a lot of talking, but I felt like I gave all the information and Kayla didn't give me any. And I was like, okay, well, if somebody's starting to realize that, I need to maybe switch up the way I say things a little bit because I was really trying to present myself as not being a threat this season specifically. I felt like I was more in the forefront last season. Was worried people were going to kind of remember that a little bit. I was trying to make as less waves as possible. So I do agree with the fact that I was kind of in the background a great deal of this game. It was on purpose. Now, do I think that at the end of the game, I made decisions when I had to? Was technically Antonio's vote my move? Well, no, because I didn't vote Antonio, Chris did. Do I think that I led the charge on John's vote? 100%. So I do take full credit for that. Do I think that I led the charge on Ian's vote? No, not at all. I mean, Chris was technically the tie-breaking vote on Ian. Now, did we do all of those things together? Well, yeah, we were in communication with each other the entire time. So I do think it is super hard to differentiate our game. But at the same time, I've said this before, I do feel like we played super similar games. And so it is hard to differentiate ourselves from each other. But that also unfortunately just comes with working closely with someone. I don't feel like there was ever a time where I felt like I had to take charge and make sure Chris knew who was boss because I wanted both of us to get to the end. So like, yeah, do I want to be the one to win? Of course I do. But I wanted Chris to be there just as much as I wanted to be there. Whether that lands him the win or not, that is totally okay because I really wanted him to win last season and he didn't and he should have and he knows that he should have. I genuinely enjoyed myself and I think Chris played just as amazing of a game.
All right, thank you very much. And although like I'm on the fence of if you get the votes, you deserve to win. So technically, Chris didn't get all the votes to win. So technically he deserves to be the runner-up. But speaking of which, we get to Chris over here.
What's up,
So
Michael?
not much. So I didn't have a very solid question for you until very recent information came to a head to a degree. So obviously, like, we really much bonded on this season, and I'm not gonna go into full details. We both know probably of why this was a close bond that you had due to a certain connection between me, and someone close to you. But there is some things in this game that really shook things. Like, first of all, well, like, I totally get why I got voted out the first time. I do fully get that. And obviously, I got idled out immediately after I re-entered. The one thing I find very, very interesting, though, about both those scenarios that was just resurfaced either yesterday or today was the fact that, in a sense, you were trying to throw me under the bus on both of those occasions. And it's been said from, but most of these jurors have literally confirmed all this kind of stuff. So I kind of want to get your perspective on those kind of events, from your perspective there.
Yeah, so just to clarify so we can kind of be specific, are you talking about you thought Kevin had an idol and you wanted to throw stray votes? Is that the kind of conversation we're having about throwing you under the
I
bus,
heard in
or
both of the rounds that you essentially threw me under the bus,
so I'm
despite
not
me being really loyal to you.
I I guess I'm just kind of confused exactly like what I did that kind of threw you under the bus. I did tell Ian and Ava that you were wanting to throw stray votes and switch off of Kevin, which hindsight 2020 is the correct move. And so I know that kind of um led down a bad kind of road and I think caused Ava to vote for you, those conversations. And so if that's the conversation we had, like, yes, I did do that and I apologize. But I was just kind of explaining to my alliance members, like, hey, this is the situations that's happening. And I just wanted them to trust me.
Okay, that's very much fair. Like, that was sort of the thing that I have. My second half to this question is a very simple one. So obviously we have your, I believe it was the nut one. You gotta remind me, because, like, about the situation. I believe it was your nut advantage where every
Hmm.
vote that passed for you got reflected backwards to that person. I think it was that one.
Yeah, correct.
So this is my question I have for you, and I want you to be completely honest. Let's say the rules of that advantage change, where you have to actually play that advantage in order for it to work. Truthfully, would you have played it on that round?
Yes. I knew the votes were coming to me. And so I would have played it on that round.
Okay, so basically it would have stayed the same regardless. Okay. Okay, I will get back to you in just a moment. And finally, we got Miss Red Lips Molly here. Where, I'm not gonna lie, coming into this, I was very much leaning one certain way, and I was kind of off you, but then we get to your speech, and the more people talk on the jury, like, there is some acumen to your game to a degree where, like, you have shown your ability to figure out your big highs of the game, but also am not afraid to show the very lows of your game at the end of the day, which is very much impressive overall. So my big thing that I'm really struggling with you, because, like, genuinely I knew you the most out of the three of you. Like, personally, like, it probably would go to you if I was to vote personally, but this is a game. So, like, my big thing is, like, why do you think that your successes of gaining all this like social capital and staying under the radar, why does that deserve to win over all the negatives that have part in your game? There.
Every time. There we go. So that's a great question. You're right. There were a lot of struggles in my game, but I proved that I was able to adapt to all of those struggles, and I made it here regardless. I feel like anytime I lost someone that I felt close to, I got close to someone else, and I worked that bond immediately, and I worked it hard, and it worked. I I definitely was unaware of the whole Chris Kayla like besties thing, but I also I thought that me and Chris had a pretty close relationship, and I think that started on the tribe of the five split when we were split when we voted out Kevin. I worked my ass off over there to make sure that I would not get sent home because I thought it was a very real possibility. I was in a bad situation numbers wise there, but I worked hard to make sure it wasn't me. And I made sure it wasn't me again at Final Seven when I won Touchy Subjects. And a person does not win Touchy Subjects by accident. A person wins Touchy Subjects with phenomenal game awareness, and that's what I had. So yeah, that I saved myself when I needed to. I had an idol that I didn't tell anybody about, and I didn't even need it for myself. If so, I think that's pretty impressive. I had an idol. I had knowledge is power, which I never used. So I had things that I didn't need to play for myself. I worked my relationships, and I excelled at game awareness. Oh fuck, my phone battery just clicked. Wait, can you still hear me?
Yeah, I can still hear you.
Sorry. Yeah, all in all, I fought and I adapted. Summarize that.
Okay. Now to what I started at the beginning of this. So I asked each of you to choose one individual juror. Kayla, you chose Antonio, Chris chose Ian, and Molly chose Mandy. So here's my question for all of you. How did the juror that you selected at the very start of the game, well, at the start of this questionnaire, how did that one individual help and hurt your game, and why could have and how could have they won the game if they got to the end? So back to Kayla.
You're gonna have to repeat your question because my mind span is extremely small.
So in your sense, it's how did Antonio help or hurt your game, and how could have Antonio won this game?
Okay, so I think Antonio helped my game. But there's Antonio's face. I think that Antonio helped my game specifically in some of the relationships that he had. So he had a strong bond with Mandy, whereas I didn't necessarily have a super strong bond with Mandy. So I think him kind of being that glue to bring us together helped me personally. So I think his relationship with Mandy helped me. How did he hurt my game? I don't think he did hurt my game. I don't really think that there was anything that specifically he did that hurt my game. However, technically, I guess I could say him having more trust in John, if that was the case, than me at the time where he gave John the steal the vote. Selfishly, I would have probably liked that. Maybe he felt like we had already built that trust and he didn't really need to build that bond anymore, but he did give it to John and he could have given it to me. So maybe that was, a gap in my game where I should have made him feel comfortable enough or made him feel like he should have given it to me. And why do I think Antonio could have won this game? Antonio is so charismatic. I just think that people genuinely enjoy listening to Antonio. I think Antonio had strong social bonds in this game. I've also seen Antonio do absolutely phenomenal in challenges. So Antonio could have gone on an immunity run and won lots of different challenges that led him to the end. But I think that in the end, it would have been Antonio's strong social connections that helped him win.
Okay, thank you very much. Now we get to Chris. The same thing, but Jay, I know there's 2 minutes. Just let them do their thing here, please. So, Chris, your one is for Ian. How did he help? How did he hurt your game? And how could he have won this game?
Yeah, so how did he help my game? Obviously, Eden and I were locked in like day one after the Zoom call with Gloop. And so we were working together in stride. And so definitely helped my game there. We shared a lot of information. We had a lot of conversation about names. And so yeah, how did he hurt my game? I don't know if there is technically like a way that he hurt my game. I don't think. I think maybe like he's almost too charismatic. At like tribal council, he's always got good analogies and good puns and good jokes, and so it definitely could have drawn like a target to both of us since we were kind of working really closely. I think people saw that. How could he have won? I mean, the exact same reasons. Like charismatic, he had great relationships with everyone. He was always trying to connect with people and build relationships. It was whether or not they were receptive to that. And I think we see like sometimes just people weren't in this game for different reasons, but I think that's how he would have won.
All right. And now, Molly, yours is on Mandy.
Okay, how Mandy helped my game. She once we swapped together, Mandy gave me a lot of information, and that information continued to go to me. I knew that Kayla was the one that threw the rogue vote on me at the Beth Tribal. I knew that Antonio had to steal a vote. I knew that Antonio had an idol. I knew that Mandy had close relationships with Antonio, and I knew that she was kind of close to Kayla by extent of Antonio. So yeah, Mandy helped me with a lot of information, an immense amount of information. How did Mandy hurt my game? By leaving it. No, obviously we all understand Mandy, why Mandy left, and obviously respect that choice. But yeah, that is probably the only way that I can think of that Mandy technically hurt my game. And how Mandy could have won. I mean, come on, she was MVP for a reason, her season. She's a phenomenal player. She's charming, she's smart, she's social. Everybody likes her. And she can beast at some challenges sometimes too. So there's a lot of ways Mandy could have won this game. And yeah, I was sad that she left, but in the long run, I guess she would have been a huge threat. So maybe it wasn't terrible, but yeah.
All right. And thank you very much. Congratulations to all three of you. And I wish you all the best of luck for the rest of the questions.
All right, I won't do it again. Oh, Frank,
What's up?
or oh no, I said I won't do it again unless Frank, are you here? Because I know we promised you first, and then Kevin, be ready. Either one of you.
I'm here. I'm here. My apologies. I was dealing with some shitheads. Just want to say congrats, you guys. Good job. To me, I don't hold the friend Viber thing over your head, Chris. I think you played amazing. You cut Kayla's people before she can cut yours. You put yourself in a lot of great position, and that's bravo to you. Molly, you were constantly. I feel like you were me in the second half of the game, where like you're just trying to find a place and trying to find somewhere to go. So I can relate with your game really really well. Kayla, I'm not really sure. Uh, I didn't play that long with you. You went radio silent on me pretty much when the scramble period happened. So but I don't really have any questions. I just wanted to say, I just want to highlight the games that you guys had because I feel like you guys got in a lot of bullshit, and I want to be a nice guy. I know I can be a nice guy. I could be an asshole, but I'm here to be a nice guy. I think you guys are all lovely people. And that's what I came here to do. So Molly, you were the person that just clawed her way to this part, and congrats. I was hoping that I was gonna be able to do what you did. Obviously it did not, but and then like I said, Chris, I think you're not getting as much credit as you deserve. Um, and I don't have any bias because I knew fucking half the cast. So like if I would have made it there, like if I would have worked with Mandy, Antonio, Molly, countless people on this cast, like I knew half the cast. It doesn't mean that's the only reason why I would have played with them. I was trying to vote out Antonio. Like I voted out McCole. I voted out Fred. Like I voted out people I knew outside the game. And so to me, that doesn't hold any water over my head. So Kayla, Chris, like don't I mean, I'm not gonna hold the friend Viber thing over your head. You guys did what you had to do. Bravo to you guys. Like if me and Antonio linked up, or me and Mandy linked up, or me and Molly, like if I would have did that, I would have hoped I'd get the respect that you guys deserve. So that's just my opinion. I know other people have different opinions, but I just want to say, don't hold it. Like friend Viber is not. There's some situation where fucking that shit happens. Not this game, in my opinion. So congrats you three. Um, I guess before I leave, um, just give me your favorite moment of the season. Not a move. Doesn't have to be a move. It doesn't have to be a relationship. Just like anything that happened throughout the season. What was your favorite moment? We'll start with Molly. Come on, Molly.
Okay, good. I was getting ready to unmute. My favorite moment was, well, it came from a bad moment. The night after that Chris Miller was blindsided, I was very upset, and I kind of went to the main chat, and I quote, I think this is roughly what I said. I said, I just took my sleeping pills. I'm not going to waste any time talking to you liars tonight. And I was just fucking around and being funny. And I think it was received that way by most people. But yeah, so I basically told off the entire main chat. And then the next day I was still a little sassy. So that was my favorite moment because I'm never sassy in these games. I'm never like, oh, you bitches lied to me. I'm never like that. So I wanted to be funny and like switch it up, and it was fun and I enjoyed it.
All right, Kayla, go ahead.
Oh goodness. I'm totally gonna blame the pregnancy brain because I feel like there's like I can't even remember what happened yesterday. So like you asking me to remember something from the game is honestly, I'm usually really good at remembering everything and like full conversations. I have no idea. Honestly, I think like the most memorable thing for me this season is how paranoid Antonio was all of the freaking time. And he was legitimately regularly saying to us, girl, somebody's gonna snatch my wig. And like
Girl, that was supposed to be me. I was supposed to snatch it.
I just it kills me every single time. And I feel like multiple of us have referenced it so many times since then. I just yeah, if I can remember anything from this season, it will specifically be that.
All right, Chris.
Yeah, for me, it was the Final Four immunity challenge, winning that. NJ had reached out to me that day and told me like I had played the most games in Radical and or most days, and I was like, that's really cool. So winning that, and just like that whole day, I was like, oh, this is really awesome.
Well, like I said, congrats. Know what it feels like to be getting grilled at these things. So that's why I wanted to come up and, release some stress. Hope I did that for you guys. I think you guys are all lovely people. My vote's not locked, but I have a favorite. But I wish you guys all the best. And yeah, have a good night.
All right, well, he's already here. Go ahead, Kevin.
I didn't mean to turn it on immediately. Hello. Great to see all three of you here. This is definitely not the final three that I expected to see in this game, but it's a very interesting final three for sure. Now, I will be completely transparent. I have been focusing on something else basically this entire time. So I have heard jack shit of anything you guys have said besides your opening statements and the question that Frank asked and a little bit of the question that McCall asked. So I'm mainly going to be judging this solely based upon my answer. So it's going to be very important. And it's a pretty easy one. So, this is an All-Stars game, and I feel like coming into an All-Stars game, you really want to put your fullest effort into it, and you maybe want to try to change things up a little bit. So I think my question to you guys is, what is something different you did in this game versus your original game, and how do you think it benefited you to get to this point? And any of you can start.
I'll start. I think for me, it was my willingness to say names. So like the first time I played was last season, like first ever org, and so I was like, you never say a name, you never say a name. And like I would, you just kind of hear that. And so this season I felt like more open and honest about saying names, and like that was something that I kind of wanted to work on, and just being like really transparent with people, like, hey, I'm thinking this person, and like, but I'm open, like I'm, you kind of always use that, like, hey, but I'm flexible, whatever you think is best. And so, but my willingness to say names, I think, was something that I really tried to incorporate this season from last, and so that would be my one thing.
I can go next. So I feel like there's a couple things, but in my original season, I feel like I was perhaps too trusting. And I don't want to say I didn't trust people in this season, but I think I was a lot more wary of people and what they were saying to me, because I was blindsided my original season. So I was more wary and took into account things that people were saying and kind of maybe overanalyzed them a little bit in my head and in my confessionals, but I think that worked out for me. I also think that I think I feel like overall my game was just so different because I was forced to adapt so much. But I guess those would be the two main things that I would say.
Okay, and Kayla?
Honestly, this is my first All-Stars game. I've never actually played an All-Stars game. I've also never played a game so close together because I just played last season, and then Jay somehow talked me into coming back when I knew I probably shouldn't have, just because I was already so exhausted, and these games are so emotionally exhausting. And I felt like at sometimes I was having a hard time like keeping up just because I was like, okay, do I stay up and have these conversations or do I go to bed? Like, it's just like one of those things, and I would normally never do that. But I put myself in that position, but I honestly still genuinely enjoyed my time. I think that the difference between my gameplay this season based on my gameplay last season, and I know that you did say that you listened to McColl's answer, and so this might be a little bit of repetition, but I do feel like I felt I played more of a background game. I didn't make as much of a splash on a regular basis as I did on my OG season, but I also feel like that was to my advantage because while people had Antonio and John top of mind, they didn't necessarily think of me as much, which made me not necessarily as big of a target as them going through the game. Whereas last season, I felt like I was just like, yeah, let's say their name. Yeah, let's say their name. I don't really care. Like it was just I kind of, made moves maybe before I should have in my original season. And that was a big reason why I got voted out of Final Four and I did make it to Final Tribal Council. I think I had a really good shot had I made it to Final Tribal Council last season. And funny enough, that jury would have hated me because it was very much about Friend Survivor that season with that jury. But I do think that I played a very different game. I was definitely more in the background for sure this game than I was last game.
All right. Well, just because I don't know what other questions were asked and I don't want to get repetitious, I think I'm just going to end my time there. But good luck to all three of you, and we will see who gets that shiny golden ticket. Now, we had a lot of golden tickets in this game, but who's going to have the pristine, framed bronze golden ticket at the end of this game? We will find out.
I don't know if you can have a bronze and gold ticket, but we'll go with it. Next up, we have the Queen over here. Now. Yes, our last juror, certainly last but not certainly not least, the queen of the lip syncs over here, Ava.
Hello, 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 Final Tribal Council. I would like to play a game. Okay, but in all seriousness, let's get to this. So, my first question is going to be when the cast came out, like when we had the full cast reveal, who out of anybody, not just jury, pick one person, were you the most excited to see, and who did you want to play with? Any of you can start.
I'll go first. For me, it was Antonio for I feel like obvious reasons. He had a big crush on me. So I kind of knew that, and so I was like, this will be a fun game to play with him, and so that's kind of where I was at when I saw the cast.
Next.
I can go next. When I saw the cast reveal, there was and I said this to a couple people, there's a huge amount of people that I did not recognize at all. Like I had literally never even seen on game pages, you being one of them, Ava, which is shocking to me because I feel like I am at least on a lot of game pages. There's a lot of people I didn't recognize, a lot of people I did recognize. Honestly, one of the people that I was least excited, I think one of your questions was least excited to see, correct?
No, most
As well as
excited, but I would love to hear your other side of it too. That's just a bonus.
So I was least excited to see Tyler. I've never played with Tyler, but I've hosted Tyler, and Tyler just scares the shit out of me. I just think that Tyler is a crazy competitor. I also think that when Tyler speaks, people listen. Maybe it's the level of his voice or the things he says, but Tyler scares the shit out of me. And so I was least excited to see him. So I was very happy when we weren't on a tribe together. And most excited to see, I'm not going to say Antonio because I was actually wary about how this game would go between the two of us when I saw that Antonio was on the cast reveal. I think one of the people that I was most excited to see was Molly, to be honest with you, just specifically because Molly and I've seen Molly on lots of game pages. I've kind of been in some of the same games with Molly, but we've never really actually played together. We've either been on separate tribes or just separate sides of things. Like I'm pretty sure we just played a murder mystery game together, but never actually had a conversation because we didn't really need to. It wasn't a social game. So I think I was most excited to be able to, you know, connect with her on a sense of like, we've played so many games together. Why haven't we worked together? And then of course we didn't even end up working together until the very end of this game. So I think that Molly was a relationship that I was hoping to be able to strengthen at one point or another in this game. So yeah, Molly was definitely probably my the person I was most excited to see.
That's so cute. There were quite a few on the cast reveal that I was excited for, but I think honestly, Ava, it was probably you because I wanted us to have a second chance. And if that's like pandering, I'll change my answer, but I wanted us to have a second chance. And maybe it kind of worked, it kind of didn't, but I missed playing with you because I thought I left too soon our season. And it was cut short, and I was really sad because I feel like we had a really good connection, and we still do. But yeah, I mean, I knew that you would be on the cast too. I figured with your, you know, badass performance in our season, but yeah, so I was excited about that.
I mean, pander away. I can give you my Venmo. No. Second question. Just a more general question than I think a lot of people have had. Not totally game related to this game specifically, but if you were in a situation where you knew somebody was your enemy and was out to get you, what would you do to turn them into an ally? Not just save yourself, but flip it so that they would be somebody that you felt, you know, not necessarily maybe somebody you trusted, but you knew they were somebody you could work with.
I can go first on that one. I know that he hasn't been mentioned tonight for various different reasons. So John played in, not this John who left the jury, played in my OG season. And it wasn't a secret that John literally was saying my name from the very beginning. And I still have no idea why, because we were in an alliance together the entire time. And then I was able to work with my alliance in that game to blindside him. It was a fantastic blindside. And so the second that I saw him in this game, it was either, well, what do we do? Do we target each other right away because that's the easy thing to do? Or do we try and flip the script and say, listen, let's have bygones be bygones. So that's exactly what I did, because I wanted this game to be different from the last. I was playing differently. I wanted things to be different. So I did feel like I did try my hardest to try and reason with John, make John feel like, bygones be bygones. I know you were saying my name in the last game. I know we had our tiffs. I know that you went after me. I went after you. Let's put that all under the rug and let's work together. And we did. Like, it did work out for a short amount of time. Unfortunately, he kind of reverted right back to his old shenanigans. And it happened right before he ended up leaving the game, obviously for the best. But he was one person that I did put a lot of effort, more effort than I probably should have, into trying to work with, that I did not work with in my last game and normally wouldn't work with.
I'll go next. I think for me, it would just be trying to find common ground and kind of like a common enemy. I think that's something that brings people together. If you have a common enemy, even if you may not like each other or are kind of working in separate kind of paths, but if you have a common enemy or a common goal together, I think that's kind of like the thing that can bring you together. And so that's kind of the avenue I'd work on, and then just really trying to reach out and build any kind of connection with that person and just keep investing in them. And hopefully it'll pay off.
All right.
Can you repeat the question? I kind of forget a lot of it.
Simplified, how would you turn an enemy into an ally?
Okay. I feel like I have a lot of tactics that I would use. Probably one of my favorite ones would be just like bonding with them over anything and everything, even if it's fake. Like, I wouldn't prefer it to be fake, but if it had to be fake, if I had to lie to an enemy, by saying, oh yeah, like, I'm down to do this plan, I'm down for that. Like, I don't know, I would use anything and everything that I could think of to bond over with them. And yeah, I would be open-minded as well. I would be willing to listen to them. Hope that they would be willing to listen to me. But yeah, just open-mindedness and bonding, I guess.
All right. All right. And I promise I only have one more question, and it's not actually that terrible. It's going to be the best thing to wrap this up. And my classic question: how would you get Murphy's vote? Please go ahead, and you cannot repeat answers, so pay attention.
I would give him all the Scooby snacks that he wanted.
I would pick him up and give him the best snuggles ever and the smooches and the best smooches, and I would give him a couple treats.
Main person responds.
Well, I feel like the two of them both stole my answer, because the easy answer is treats and the other one is snuggles. I mean, I have a toddler at home, and that's the closest I have to a pet, or would want to have a pet to have as a pet at home right now. So I think, dogs love to be outside. And so I think, I don't want to say the WALK word because I don't know how much Murphy will get excited, but, do the things that they like to do, which I assume is probably being outside, because I feel like you're outside a lot. So there's no way that the pup doesn't love to also be outside.
All right. Well, thank you guys so much. Good luck, all of you. I appreciate the game so much, and I appreciate all of my time with you guys. I want to make that very clear. You're all awesome.
All right. So just so Jerry knows, Chris did get to select the order of closing statements as the final immunity winner. So he chose Kayla, Molly, then himself. So what we're gonna ask is that as everyone else is going, the others turn off their cameras, and yeah, you'll have like 5 minutes for each of you.
Wow, 5 minutes is a really long time, and I totally forgot that Chris had put me first. Of course, Chris put me first. It was a very tactical decision on his end. Um, so I think that one thing that was mentioned a lot tonight, which I mean, again, you guys don't have to agree with me because you're the jury and you get to do whatever you want. But something that's been mentioned a couple different times is friend Viver. And I mean, if we're gonna go down the route of friend Viver, then I mean, I probably should have played with people that I recognized in this game right away. I've only played with Chris before. Chris and I just worked well together last season. We didn't ask to merge together. For all I know, he could have been voted out early in the game. We weren't together on either of our OG tribes. It just so happens that we met up at merge, and we thought that it would be a good idea to see if we could maybe work together. We didn't actually work together that well last season. That's the thing. Chris and I were always very surface level last season with each other. Ryan was definitely the glue holding us together last season. And then I turned on Ryan and didn't tell Chris. So, I mean, there was definitely a wariness. Chris brought it up at the very beginning to say like, oh, hope you don't do to me what you did to Ryan. So I think that like the whole friend Viver thing is just something that people are mislabeling on us by just saying, oh, well, you guys were just together because you're friends. Well, we've only played together once, and it was just a good working alliance. And it worked well in this game. It didn't work so well last game. So I don't think that that's something that should be held against us. I think we just worked well together. But I also don't think it should be discredited that we both definitely had our own individual alliances. I do think genuinely that both Molly and Chris played an absolutely fantastic game this season. I would never sit here and try to discredit either of those games because it's just not the kind of player I am. It's been the type of player I have been in the past, and I'm just not that type of person anymore. I think that we all played great individual games. I think that I had a harder road than they did. Chris, did position himself well with his alliance. And that got him far in the game. Chris did take out some of my alliance members, and whether that was actually on purpose or by accident. And so with Molly, Molly and I didn't really work together until closer to the end of the game. But I do think that I was able to use my relationships and strengthen my bonds with both of them enough to ensure that I was able to propel myself further in the game with the relationships that I was creating. I didn't have to win immunity challenges to keep myself safe. I didn't need idols and advantages to keep myself safe. I was able to do that by one, playing a slightly under the radar game earlier on and positioning myself earlier on in the game. And then when it came time to merge, again, place myself in a strategic position enough to make sure that maybe while people were thinking I had a good strategic game or was speaking a certain way to people that maybe made me a threat, I was still able to keep myself safe enough that there was always a bigger threat on the table than me, so that I was able to continue to get myself closer and closer to the end. I think that I couldn't be beside two more deserving people in the end. Like I said before, they both played super different games. I think that both of them also deserve to be here. I think that, as a jury, you're going to vote for the person that you feel like played the best game in your eyes, and that's what you should be doing. And I am grateful to be here, and I am more than happy to see either of them win this season. Jay, you are amazing. I think you're amazing. Thank you for pushing me and making me play this season, even though I really didn't want to and probably shouldn't have. But I've had a fantastic time. I've had a great time meeting each and every one of you, or getting to know each and every one of you a little bit better. And good luck with your decisions tonight. Whatever you decide, I am already happy with the outcome.
Molly, I saw you. I'm sorry. Are you ready?
No, but it's fine.
Okay.
All right. Sorry guys. All right, let's see here. Uh, gosh, closing speech. I never write one of these. I just usually wing it, so that's what I'm gonna do. I think that I played a phenomenal game. I'm proud of the game I played. It was not your typical I'm in charge of every move kind of game because I wasn't. I had to adapt and I fought and I clawed my way here. And I did it with a smile on my face. People liked talking to me. I have a great social game. I um I won the challenge when I needed to. I won touchy subjects. I showed that I had phenomenal game awareness. I lost my allies one by one by one, and yet I still persevered and I made new ones and I got here. Um, I didn't have like a steady ride or die the entire game that I could depend on. I had me, myself, and I, and I made that work for me. And I had advantages that I didn't need. I had tickets that I didn't need. Um, I, yeah, my game was a little bit, what's the word? Underdog, yeah. Unpredictable for me. I think a lot of people that have seen me in these games aren't used to me playing this way. And truly one of my favorite things that I can claim, I said it in my opening speech, but I'll say it again, is that I'm sitting at the end with two new friends. Kayla and I have played together here and there, but like she had said, we weren't really ever on the same page or we weren't on the same tribe or anything. But I consider Kayla a really good friend now. And Chris and I didn't know who Chris was before this game. Brand new friend. So really thrilled about that. Yeah, all of my previous connections, a lot of them were voted out pre-merge. And then my closest allies were voted out blindsided. Yeah, gosh, sorry, this is so bad. But yeah, I'm a little stressed right now. But yeah, great game to everybody. Jury, you made this game a hell of a ride. And love you all. Chris and Kayla, thanks for being great fellow finalists. Y'all are incredible. And thanks to Prod for putting on such a fun game. And yeah, that's all I got.
All right, Chris, go ahead and close us out.
All right. Molly and Kayla, it's been an honor to sit alongside you and next to you. You guys are both great players, great individuals, and played fantastic game. Why do I think I deserve to win? Obviously, everyone's talking about this friend Viber with Kayla and I, but I never mailed it in at that point. When merge happened and like Kayla and I kind of started working together, I never mailed it in. I kept building relationships. I kept trying to play this game to the best of my ability. I was out messaging everyone, trying to build social connections because I knew I needed people because I knew like I needed help to get to the end because I wasn't going to get there by myself. I never once decided to say, you know what, I can float this middle and just kind of go with the flow. Like I was out saying names, I was out making relationships, I was trying to put as much strategy out there as possible. And I was just building connections. And one of those was with Molly. Like when we got divided into our groups, like group A and group B, like that was something I wanted to work on. And then it worked out to I think where she almost played the idol on me at final six. And so like that was a relationship that I had and she didn't need to do that, but I think she was contemplating it. And that kind of shows that my social connection is not just with Kayla, but with everyone else on the jury. And I hope that we built relationships. And I don't want it to be clouded by this friend Viber or anything like that. I voted out pretty much the two people's sitting next to me as closest allies. Chris Miller, like that was someone that I wanted to take out. And then I took out Antonio along with Antonio taking himself out, which like what a play. And so I think that's kind of the reasons that I think I deserve to win. Um, and I played strategy as much as I could. I know their conversation was, did you play strategy or did you play the middle? And I think I I tried to play both. I tried to have great strategy conversations with all my allies, John and Ian. Like I felt like we had great strategy conversations about like what the next move was. And then like I never turned it off. Like I kept playing the game and kept building the relationships. And so for me, I just never turned it off and I kept playing and I wanted to win. After last season and losing by a tie vote, this is something I wanted to do. I think like I hope you all see that like I logged the most days in Radical for a reason because I really do enjoy Survivor and I love this game and like I know I'm new to it, but it's something I find joy in and passion. It's taxing, but it's such a blast and I appreciate all the new friends that I have. And so thank you for allowing me to play, Jay. And I just am so proud of the game that I played. And so hopefully I get your vote.
All right. Dave, you can come on camera again. It is time for you to breathe. We'll ask the jury to go submit their votes. Try to do in timely manner. I'll extend to 10, like 15, 10, 20 if you can. Submit it like a voting confessional, write it down if you can. And I'll get you all in the Streamlab as soon as possible. We'll be revealing the votes tonight. I'll say bye to Facebook for now.